go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone.
That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives by this point of pale light.
We shall prevail.
Listen, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Rocket Tranquility, we copy you on the ground.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Welcome to the Internet Space Program.
GM, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another MoonDAO Town Hall. We got not Pablo here. What's up, Titan? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Pablo,
how about yourself?
Pablo changed. Yeah. Doing good. We're switching things up this week. So, yeah. We got folks joining us here. Hey, Jerry from sunny England. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not today. Yeah.
It's definitely hot, England.
Oh, yeah, they're in a heat wave. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brutal heat waves, but probably not Texas hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. Happy Thursday here. I guess we're in the final town hall of July. I can't believe it's already August or almost August. Few updates from the network, and we'll also have Andrew here to share a little bit about a recent conference that he attended in Houston. So yeah, looking forward to hearing more about that. We got yeah, Jerry says it's actually incredibly sunny and 38 degrees centigrade. So
it's warm, yeah.
That's very warm. And Super Sal in Tucson, good to see you, Super Sal. Good to see everybody joining here. But sure, we'll kick things off with some updates from the network. So yeah, if you've been in the Discord, we have been in the midst of kind of an executive lead election here, the executive lead command structure. Our MoonDAO constitution has a spot for basically a triumvirate of 3 rotating or staggered executive leads. Pablo's first term is coming to an end here. And he's up for re-election or confirmation. But we do have an empty 3rd seat. So we're kind of in a little bit of a conundrum. Last week, I believe it was, we convened the MoonDAO Senate together to talk about what would be the best course of action. And the MoonDAO Senate, basically in a supermajority or basically unanimously, decided that it would be best to fill out the constitutional structure of the DAO, as opposed to putting up a head-to-head election against Pablo, who is our founder, which might dissuade some people from actually participating. We wanted to fill out the actual governance structure of the DAO for the first time and have the full 3-seat leadership structure, which was the Senate's decision, not coming from the executive branch, but this is coming from within the MoonDAO Constitution. So yeah, in light of that, essentially, there was a slight shift to the schedule. We're going to be reopening the nomination period for a period of time here. The dates are, August, up until August 24th. So we're looking for potential candidates who would be interested in helping lead and shepherd the DAO in terms of the direction. The executive branch kind of steers the ship, if you will. We're still member governed, run by the Senate, run by the community, but the executive leads kind of do the day-to-day operations and help steer things in a direction we want to go. So all the pertinent dates are shared in the Discord channel, but yeah, nomination period is reopening here for another month, and we will have the actual election process for this vacant 3rd seat, which will be a special election to fill the remaining 2 years in mid-September, essentially. So just wanted to flag that for everyone. That's kind of where the situation is with the executive branch election. We do have the project cycles open right now for both the next cohort of Q3 projects and the retroactive rewards for the recently completed projects. I was hoping to announce the results here today, but unfortunately I don't have that finalized and the final audit tallied. So I'm just going to ask everybody to be patient. We should have that here hopefully later today or by tomorrow for sure, in terms of which are the projects that passed for Q3 and also kind of the reward distribution for the 7 completed projects last last quarter. Really awesome work, really competitive projects that are putting forward their work here for future funding. But yeah, I can't share the results yet, unfortunately, for that. We can share though the community contribution circles, which we had some amazing turnout last quarter actually. So just to remind everyone, if you're doing independent work related to space, related to MoonDAO's mission, you can submit this as a citizen to the community and get rewarded for that work. And yeah, we had a record turnout. I think it was, 33 contributions from 19 people. Really cool stuff that people are working on. We had Giovanna, who was the #1 overall. The #1 overall recipient of the rewards. So she'll be getting about $200 something and 67,000 Mooney, which will increase her voting power. Shout out to Titan here, of course, who came in #2. Good job, Titan. Always doing awesome stuff with I-24 and elsewhere. So love to see that. And our Frank White, our very own Frank White from the Send Frank to Space mission, which is still going strong and getting small but regular contributions from the community. He came in 3rd, but yeah, I shared the full spreadsheet, so you can check it out. If you submitted your contributions last quarter, you can see kind of where you fall and how much you've got coming in and USDC retroactive rewards and Mooney voting power. So I think Andrew, you can attest to it though. You've submitted regularly for a number of quarters. It's a great way to kind of get a little bit of extra change to do fun things with.
I call it Lego money, but no, it's great. I mean, where else can you go in the space community and get paid for what you're doing? And I don't think of it as work. I mean, we call it work, but it's it's what I do to help spread the word. And I was surprised as heck that I got this time, because I figured everybody's busy like me, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. I mean, and like we were talking pre-show, that's not just the MoonDAO stuff; it's all the other stuff you do.
Right.
Just as long as it's it's promoting space and the space community and so forth. So yeah, I was asking earlier, I got to keep track of actually what I'm putting in there, because I lose track sometimes of all the stuff, and I don't want to over brag and so forth, because I imagine you could submit stuff and who's to know, but right. But you like to be visible about it.
It's great to just share what you're working on. Like, it's a great way to get eyeballs on other things you're doing, other initiatives, cool things.
And I know for a fact, especially the I-24 members, they're out doing stuff all the time. And we're getting busier and busier. We're getting, speaking of space camp, we're getting real busy with this. I'll give you a little leak. I think I-24 is going to be doing a space camp next year, all I-24 space camp, which would be great to bring some MoonDAO people in on that too.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a great way. You don't get any rewards if you don't submit it, is basically the point I'm trying to make. I mean, you can submit. People ask me, it's like, you don't need to be building a literal rocket engine to be able to submit contributions. Like, the work that all of you tuning in here, I'm sure, are doing on an independent basis is like a valuable contribution to the community and to the overall mission of MoonDAO. So yeah, just get in the habit of kind of regularly submitting your work once a month or once a week, whatever it might be. Regular contributions are good practice.
I try to do it as I go, just because I lose track. Well, by the way, when will this be distributed?
It should be distributed within the next week, would be my goal. So hopefully we'll get the USDC out probably tomorrow, just in terms of the queue up the transaction, but when it actually gets signed and executed might take a couple days. And then the V Mooney will probably be soon thereafter. And as people know who have done it before, you can just go into your MoonDAO dashboard and like claim the rewards with a couple clicks of a button and increase your voting power, which will give you a bigger say in our project selection, our governance decisions, all of that. So there's one slight hiccup in the fact that, get to this in a minute, but we're going to be doing a little space event here in Brazil next week. So hopefully it doesn't mess up our timeline, but we're going to do our best to get these out in a timely manner for the project, the newly approved projects and the and the retroactive rewards. There's Titan again. But yeah, just want to give a big shout out to Jorge Salazar Apolinata, who's our newest citizen in the community, citizen number 229, which is great. I had a little meeting with him the other day. He's based here in Barranquilla, Colombia. Yeah, does great influence stuff on social media about science and space. He participated in the Art Rocket project with Roscosmos in Kazakhstan. So he was there with Giovanna, another member of the community, William, another member of the community. It's doing cool stuff. So excited to get Jorge involved in MoonDAO, and a big welcome to our newest citizen. And yeah, speaking of contributions, Andrew, yeah, we can talk about this now, but you submitted your contribution for the Humans to the Moon and Mars Summit here at Rice University in Texas, and a number of other things. But yeah, just wanted to highlight, these community contributions again for folks that are working on things right now. It's a good opportunity to just pop into the dashboard and submit your contributions. But yeah, Andrew, how was the Humans to the Moon and Mars Summit? What did you?
It was great. It was great. Yeah, it's the Explore Mars organization. The acronym was H2M2, and it was basically everybody who's interested in sending people to the Moon and Mars. I had intended to sit in on the presentations. Unfortunately, I had so many people there talking. I was manning the table talking about I-24 and so forth. And I met somebody that we were talking about him earlier.
Eli from
Eli
CryoDAO.
From the Space Biostasis Coalition. And it was, I couldn't stop talking about it. Basically, he was talking about the science. They're working on the science for hibernation for future space travel. And some of the most amazing, you start thinking about it here, and when he talks about, like, there are animals in the animal kingdom that have built-in mechanisms for hibernating, and there's an Arctic mouse that has to hibernate 7 months a year. It'll die if it doesn't. And what it does is it builds up a huge amount of fat in its bloodstream. So when his heart stops to hibernate, it actually doesn't start it, like, it twitches like once a minute or so, but the body just draws nutrient from the blood because it's so full of fat. And that there's a pocket of fat in the back of their neck, which keeps the brain just above freezing. Because all that fat keeps them from freezing. But the whole concept, we start joking about, what a great idea for a sci-fi movie where you got these astronauts who are genetically manipulated to go into stasis for a certain amount of time, but something wakes them up and they have to hibernate or they'll die. It's it's a big blockbuster movie and so forth. But I said, at least the mouse needs to get an episode of Nova. That's what needs to happen. But yeah, it was, like I said, I got to meet so many people. We picked up a few new memberships, and I was promoting MoonDAO simultaneously, and Eli and a bunch of other people very familiar with MoonDAO. And I tried to promote them to, everybody to talk to them about it. But we were there promoting our spaceflight training coming up, our class 5. It's going to be the first class that we're doing on our own. Of previous 4 classes we had done with Trent Tresh out of University of Arizona and the Chase organization. Well, he's moved on from Chase, and so we've acquired all their equipment, and we're going to be holding the classes here in Houston. So over by Johnson Space Center and Space Center Houston. We're starting with a small class in September.
All full, right?
All full, yeah. We did that through the DAO. Actually, the DAO got to sell a couple seats for that. And
we had it on the MoonDAO marketplace for a while there, but I guess now, if you're interested, you'd have to tune in for class 6 early next year. Yeah,
class 6. I'm about ready to put that up for January. We're hoping to go to like 10 or 12 for that. We spoke to some people about them sending their people into the class too. So we may be doing special classes just for other clients and so forth. Amazing to talk to all those people. I got to reconnect with Dr. Leroy Chow, NASA astronaut. Worked with him back in the 90s doing PAO-TV with him and so forth. So it was very cool. And I encourage people. Houston's a place. If you're in Houston, and you're into space, you definitely got to hit some of these conferences just to meet everybody and connect, because you never know. It's amazing. I ran into people. And like I said, it's kind of like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever, but it's only about 2 or 3 in the space community, especially in Texas. Everybody knows somebody else there. And
definitely,
so
it's definitely a niche kind of audience. It seems like.
Yeah, Yeah. Well,
Probably
I
less
mean,
less than 6 degrees of separation, probably.
yeah, that's closer to about 3, I think. But
Yeah.
still it's still very cool. So
Yeah,
we're
there's some
hoping
interesting
to,
conferences coming up soon too, like the Payload
yeah,
Space Summit in Houston,
yeah,
I think, also at Space Center Houston in
yep.
September. And
And
we've
they're,
participated in the past in New Worlds, which is usually in Austin or Houston, I guess,
yeah,
but in Texas.
Space Bio, the Eli and
Yeah,
his biostasis group are doing one in February at Space
yeah,
Center Houston, and we're going to get involved with that one too.
very exciting. Yeah, I just was chatting with Eli here this afternoon about that event and your talk and humans to the moon and Mars. But yeah, I guess there were some pretty good speakers. Unfortunately, you weren't able to see them,
Yeah,
I guess, for their speeches, but maybe connected with them after the fact. I don't know if there
yeah.
was anything else that kind of
It
jumped out
was,
at you from the event or the conference, though.
yeah, just a lot of talk about the future and space medicine. Space medicine is the big thing, and like I said, but not just the future hibernation, but we still haven't figured out a lot of that, of what's going on, and trying to get consensus on it before
Yeah,
you got a consensus, and then you have for funding, and it's it's the typical type of stuff. But it's great to connect with those people all around.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. We're talking about that today with Eli, just about how there's not a lot of concentration on kind of the I guess the biomedical side of things or like emergency evacuations. Obviously, we had kind of that episode recently on the International Space Station
Yep.
where one of the
Yeah.
astronauts had to be not, I don't want to say suddenly evacuated, but they changed the whole mission manifest and timeline to kind of get them out earlier. It wasn't maybe as super urgent as it could be in some other cases, though, where there really isn't a
Yeah.
good solution to get people out of the ISS in a fast way,
Yeah, there was actually, I don't know if they spoke this time, but I think they spoke, somebody about it spoke to it at New Worlds back at Space Center Houston a while back, about they were developing a emergency deorbiting egress capsule
Mm,
for, you could put an astronaut in and launch it, and it would get him back to Earth within an hour. And
right.
obviously that's something, if it's highly traumatic or highly, something that they can't take care on the station. And there's also another one that was back from New Worlds that I was hoping to talk to somebody about when we're there, was that when we start sending people not only to Mars, but I mean into deeper space, you
Hmm.
can't take your whole medicine cabinet with you. You can't
Right.
take every drug and so forth. So they're figuring out a way to actually using base proteins to print medication. I need an aspirin. Push a button, prints out an aspirin. Or I need some insulin. It uses, I don't know,
Right.
I don't know, protein. And anyway, but that to me is very interesting technology, because it's one of those things that when you talk about when you solve for space, you solve for Earth.
Yes.
Instantly now you have the ability to put an entire pharmacy out in the middle of nowhere, or even portable on a helicopter, whatever, when you need to make any medication.
Exactly. For all sorts of situations, whether it's a theater of war or in a village in Africa or Antarctica. But yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
the times when we're solving for space, we are solving for Earth. People that aren't as involved in the space industry maybe don't make that connection as easily. But whether it's you're asking for your Uber Eats delivery or whatever it might be, a lot of this tech that we have off world really does impact life here on Earth, and that will go for the same thing, whether it's like in
yeah,
ISRU, in situ resource utilization on the moon. That'll have impacts on how we can do things here in more remote corners of the Earth, for sure.
yeah, definitely.
So yeah, or even like the drug printing, like you're saying, though, all those active components, active compounds, they degrade over time. So if you're going on a Martian mission or deeper space mission, like you're saying, all that
Yeah.
kind of
Oh yeah,
gets
especially,
degraded,
yeah.
doesn't last.
Anything beyond Mars, you definitely have to have that kind of technology. The medications will just barely make the round trip to Mars.
Yeah, yeah,
Barely,
yeah.
I
Frank
think.
says, no space, no Uber. What would we do without without Uber?
Well, I'm sure Uber's looking at what they can get involved with. If
Yeah,
nothing, and not Uber vehicle, Uber Eats.
Uber Eats delivered by Starship to your front door now.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that they're gonna recover Starship
Yeah, yeah.
and from Flight
Yeah,
13?
we
They're gonna grab
didn't
it and
talk
bring it
about that,
back.
but yeah, that was a pretty epic launch last
Yep.
Friday, and then to see that soft water splashdown, and then to just continue floating there for days and days is pretty
Days and
remarkable.
days. Yeah, normally the vehicle will break up, and they do have contingencies if there are parts that won't. They have a demolition team that can go in there and set charges and then to sink it because they don't want to
Right.
make it a navigation hazard.
Yeah. They've
But
gone
the
out and
darn
like shot them, I guess. So it
they could do
blows
that
up.
too. Yeah, you got to be a real lucky shot though. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it didn't go under. So and under maritime law, they're responsible for it. So just might as well. Now they haven't talked about whether they're going to recover it, or they're going to just bring it back to Australia and do their debrief with it, or if they're trying to eventually bring it back to the States. I know a lot of museums and science centers would
Yeah.
love to have that one, and maybe there's one in Australia that'll get it.
It would be super cool for, yeah, different communities. I've thought about that. Like even Brownsville or something, like having it down there on the highway or different highway points, like
Well,
having these kind of monuments, as we've
I
seen with
think they're
the
going to.
Saturn V. Those would be really
Yeah,
cool.
I think they're going to get one no matter what. They're running out of storage space over there. Not a flown one, of course. Flown one, that's much bigger deal, obviously. Um,
Totally.
yeah, we'll see.
We shall see. But yeah, exciting launch. I don't know when the next one will be, but at least we're getting back into a higher cadence now that they're
Yeah,
active with the
word.
V3.
Yeah, word from Elon is they're going to go to do the catch with the Starship, which means
Yeah, that'll
they'll.
be really, really cool.
Yeah, so that means going to mean a couple things. One thing is the booster will, of course, go try to soft land out in the ocean or the Gulf, which they're going to have to do that anyway because they additional had relight problems coming back on the last one. But that also means they're going to launch is going to be earlier in the day, so that
Right.
we're not because they're going to have a daylight. So they'll optimize the launch based on lighting conditions they want for landing. So they'll back time that one orbit and so forth. And that I do know that they have applied for the to the FAA changing their orbital path, their launch and entry paths. They have clearances for those kind of things, which means in theory they could have a vehicle. I have to look at the orbits either coming in over Texas or up over Mexico.
Yeah, I think it would come in. I don't know what I've seen before is coming over central Mexico into Brownsville, but yeah,
Yeah,
people would be able to
most
see it
likely.
there.
Yeah, which
You'll have to go down there for that one, Andrew. That would be
oh yeah, no problem whatsoever. I'm right in the middle. Well, if he does it in September, I'm no luck. I am booked solid in September for work.
Have you
Yeah,
seen a catch, the booster catch?
not in person. I've only seen launches
No?
in person. Yeah, I haven't seen. Not that I haven't tried, and I have plenty of Besides the reason for seeing a rocket getting a building being caught. Um,
Yeah.
is I've got family down there, and my wife says, "Yeah, you can go anytime I'm going. You just have to go down there, take the family to dinner, and everything's cool." So,
Yeah, you got the place to crash, but it's
yeah,
definitely worth it. We lucked out when MoonDAO had a little team get together there, and what was it? I think January of last year. But
mhm.
yeah, we got the catch attempt. Ship didn't do so well on that one, but yeah, the booster catch was just
Oh yeah.
mind
Well, I
blowing
was
to see it
watching
come
it
back
on
down.
TV. I was watching it on TV. I was screaming. My wife's like, "What are you screaming about? They caught the building got caught." Uh,
Yeah. We
yeah,
were down there with the other Andrew of Rocket Future, and so
yeah,
we're on his live stream there, in
yeah.
awe,
Well,
looking
I
up
remember
as it comes back
that.
down.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah,
it,
I saw the video replay of it recently, and I hadn't seen it in so long. I'm like, what is this AI? Wait a minute, what? Oh no, it's the real thing.
it feels still
Yeah,
sci-fi and futuristic still. Like I'd never seen a return to launch site. Well, I guess I had from Blue Origin, of course, but not a full orbital rocket return to
yeah,
launch. So just seeing it come
yeah,
down and caught by the chopsticks is just crazy.
yeah, yeah, definitely. We are living in the future.
We are living in the future, and things are only going to accelerate from here. So people should be getting excited with the convergence
Yeah,
of space and AI and everything else. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff. Just a quick shout out here to the MoonDAO Marketplace. A lot of cool things in there, but one of them is a lunar art plaque from the folks at LifeShip. Yeah, you can have your artwork potentially flown to the moon or on an upcoming landing. A lot of other cool things. Space Kind training is coming up here in, I want to say, beginning of September. That's also on the marketplace. So if you're interested in doing Space Kind training with Loretta Whitesides, that's on there. Andrew has the I-24 spaceflight training as well, but that's kind of in the waiting pattern, I guess, until early next year. But there's a lot of cool things. All those sales go direct to the organizations, so you're supporting this kind of space ecosystem. And yeah, you can use your rewards, kind of like we were talking about before. Submit your independent work, get rewards, use those rewards to do more training, get more cool things. swag, whatever it might be.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. It's definitely worth it.
yeah, I-24 has gotten a few sales there. So yeah, as I alluded to before, I don't know if we're doing a town hall or not next week. I guess it kind of depends. Maybe if we get a special guest or something like that. I know Frank is working on a couple more astronaut conversations, which will be exciting. More NASA astronaut conversations. But yeah, next week, MoonDAO is going to be down in Rio for the space industry workshop, part of Rio Innovation Week. So a lot of people from the European Space Agency, from BARDA, from VAST, from the GRU Space Hotel. A lot of different folks are going to be down there. MoonDAO was invited down by the Brazilian Space Agency to talk a little bit about the emerging lunar economy. So we also have a really great community down in Brazil. I think there's like 10 or so, maybe 10 or 11 citizens in Brazil
Yeah.
right now, which is super cool. I think that's the second largest country after the United States. So yeah, excited to connect with some of the MoonDAO community down there in Brazil again. We had a great time. It was last year, almost exactly a year ago, when we were down there before with Iman and visiting various hospitals across the country, and just a really good time, really good turnout. So looking forward to seeing folks down there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you mentioned Brazil as a I think of them as a future space power. I mean, they may not be building rockets now, but give them some time. I mean, look at India. We've put some discussion on some other shows about who's actually the fourth place country now. Is it India, or third and fourth between Russia and India? Russia's,
Yeah.
you know, having issues, obviously. But
Yeah.
India, they just launched their first commercial orbital rocket, which is great for them. Now they have, it's probably going to be a lot of homegrown payloads at Planet, but now they don't have to go out. They just recently did the pad aborts and parachute tests for their crewed capsule, which means they'll be putting people into space within the next year or two, I want to say it's the biggest feather you can get for a country in the space program right now, is putting humans in space from your country. And so, pay attention. India and Brazil and South America as a whole. I think Colombia and Argentina and so forth, they're making their mark into science and aeromedicine too.
Yeah, we've had good growth recently. I was going to shout out here Colombia. We just got Jorge was our 5th citizen now in Colombia. So I think it's actually the 3rd country tied in our MoonDAO map with Canada, actually, which is pretty remarkable that we don't have more people in Canada, I guess. But yeah, India, would love to see more growth in India. I just had a meeting with someone there this morning. There's a potential project that is up for vote from for the community that would involve the Indian Space Agency. But yeah, pretty bullish on Brazil. Obviously, it's a massive country of 200 million people, has a pretty mature aerospace sector. They've got a spaceport launch facility. Yeah, MoonDAO sent more people to space than a lot of countries. It's true.
Yes, absolutely right. Yeah.
Brazil has Habitat Marte, which is also part of the network, the analog astronaut missions, just a lot of good stuff happening there. Yeah, Argentina is kind of a leader in like satellite work. We've seen pretty decent, or starting to see some decent growth there in Argentina as well. So yeah, cool to see South America putting itself on the map. Love to see more of India on the map. I guess the time zone differences are kind of tough because we're almost exactly 12 hours apart. But
we have I-24 has a pretty large South Asia community, but it's really tough. We've been trying to work toward getting their own chapter started, but it's it's still a lot of issues with the time difference and connectivity and so forth. But we're trying. We're not giving up yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the challenges of one of these global space programs, is just trying to connect with people all over the world and overlapping time zones and all that. But yeah, next week, Rio, if any of our Brazilian friends are watching, obviously let us know. But looking forward to connecting and seeing what other folks in the space industry, connecting with more folks from the space industry down there, should be great.
Yep.
So yeah, in terms of a couple things coming up besides the election lead date that I flagged for you guys earlier, next week we'll see what we got, but I did delay the project showcase and demo day, so we'll be welcoming in our new projects and also having our active projects give their monthly updates on the following week. So August 13th, we'll have our project demo day. welcome in our new projects, see what other people are working on. It's always really cool to see what's going on in the community. And then we also will have a special conversation with Iman Jahangir, our second astronaut, at the end of the month, August 27th, which is almost the 2-year anniversary of his space flight.
That's close.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. That's already been that long, to be honest. But yeah,
I know.
we'll be celebrating that.
I keep having to remind myself it was 2 years ago. I keep thinking about it, and yeah, it's a shame that Blue has paused New Shepard, because it was really, we were living the high life watching people, new people, but sometimes we saw people, friends and people we knew flying, which was always great. When they announced the crew, I'm always real quick to find out, oh my God, yeah, because you don't know. People are working behind the scenes trying to get themselves to space. I mean, I'm still trying.
Of course, yeah.
I'll be trying forever.
No, hopefully not forever, but yeah, it was pretty trippy though to be there and watch Iman take off. I mean, that was the first time for me where I've seen somebody take off in a rocket that I know, obviously. So
it really is a different thing. I mean, I got to spend a good chunk of my NASA career watching rockets launches, and they were all, they all were very important. That was part of my job, and crew safety and all that stuff, and launch to landing. But the couple times I got to go watch like shuttle launches with friends on board, that is, it's just a whole nother level. And that kind of excitement, we need to make sure people get to experience that.
Totally. Oh, we got Pablo here. What's up, Pablo? How's it going?
Hey, Pablo.
I can't hear
you.
Hey
guys.
There we go.
I'm in transit, so I'm on a hotspot. So hopefully I'm coming through okay. But yeah,
gotcha, man.
I did want to say that I mean, I think especially with the with New Shepard, because it's a pretty quick, up and down. It really just, you see Iman an hour before launch driving through, in the car.
Hold on, they weren't driving through. He was hanging out of the car.
Yeah,
that's right.
He was waist up,
yes.
hanging out of the car waving. Okay, I didn't think it was allowed, but anyway.
Most excited man I've ever seen, maybe period in my life. And then an hour or so after they land, he's just hanging out.
Back
and
hanging out.
You just passed the Kármán line, and now you're here. It's really, I mean, yeah.
It's not like he had to walk. He did have a rocket and a parachute, so it happened pretty quick. But yeah, it doesn't seem like 8 minutes. I think it was 8.5 minutes, whatever it was. You'd think it would take longer, but that's just the way the physics are.
Yeah. It's incredible.
It was. I had the experience too of being there with the families and all that. So there with Iman's wife and all the other families of the other astronauts. It was just, it was pretty. Everyone was very emotional. Obviously, they were much more emotional than me in terms of seeing their immediate families go up. But it was a very special experience. And then seeing them come out of the capsule and all that. It's just hard to believe it's 2 years. But yeah, we'll have another kind of maybe retrospective about that with Iman at the end of next month. So whatever it is, 4 weeks from now. But we'll also be talking about his book. He's got an amazing new book coming out, A Heart for Space. Interviewed a lot of different astronauts, from Jared Isaacman to Nicole Stott to Cyan Proctor and many others, kind of telling their story of, resilience and kind of these lessons that that you and we can take from space to our life here on Earth. So yeah, we'll be talking about Iman's book, which is coming out at the end of that month. I think just a couple days after, or maybe it's before.
Yeah,
I forget.
Before
that week. It comes out that week. So
yeah, and
you can pre-order the book on the MoonDAO marketplace if you want. Please do. Pre-order Iman's book or wherever you want to order it from. But yeah, help support Iman and his amazing work. So wherever you want to pre-order it from is helpful. But it's an autographed copy. I guess if you do it on our website as opposed to Amazon.
One of the highlights of I think our time at MoonDAO was that phone call that we did with Iman, where we called him to tell him that he's going to space, and I'm so glad that we recorded that, and I hope that moment is recorded there in the book, and I hope that we get to do more phone calls like that. I mean, we're real close with the fundraiser for a second seat on a stratospheric balloon, and and we can scale it to other bigger missions too in the future. So
I got to
You might
hear
be
that
doing more of
call
those phone
someday.
calls.
Yeah, I got to hear that call someday. Not
You're number one on the
2024.
leaderboard, so
Well,
Might be calling Andrew.
there's a lot more between now and then. So got to keep my fingers crossed and down. But no, I would love to hear that phone call someday. It's just a part of his journey. I've been friends with him. I think just before I4 was when we hooked up and started the journey together. And one of the things that he talks about in his book is that it's about surrounding yourself with. Put yourself in the right community. Put yourself in
Right.
where you're with other people, like-minded people. But one of the things that impressed me about him is that he used one of his what do you call it? Examples in life that he tried to shape his life around is Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger, not because he's a bodybuilder or a movie star, but he came to America with basically nothing and created an empire, being successful. And Iman is very much like that. He came here as a 4-year-old, came from Iran, and then basically the family had to start over again. So it's that success story that really drives people's attention, and that's great about that. One of the great things about his story.
Yeah, I'll never forget that after we did that phone call with Iman, like the very next day or a few days after, we see this photo of Iman with Arnold Schwarzenegger just like hanging out. We're like, what is
Same week.
Who is this guy?
Same week. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Best week of his life.
In fact, I mentioned, that was the best week of his life. And my reply was, so far.
You must have had some good karma coming or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. But it's all, like you said, it's all about building your community and being around the right people and being ready.
Yeah.
Being ready when the call comes.
And taking all the shots too. Like, there are not a ton of opportunities, but that is something that Iman still says. It's like, take all the shots you can on goal, because, like people who say they want to go to space, we have this opportunity right now to fly alongside with Frank, obviously.
Yep.
But if you're not you're not throwing your hat in the ring, you're not going to get it, right? You need to take all the shots on goal you can. This is a potentially great opportunity to go to space for people. We want to see more and more people go. So yeah.
100%.
That perseverance from Iman is super important. I guess something we can all take
and
to heart.
it's actually very simple. I've been following that since before I met Iman, and that's one of our I-24 rules. Everybody signs up for everything. Everybody applies. Doesn't matter, because you're 1 in a million. But you know what? Especially if you're like doing a long application with essays or something like for Space for Humanity. No one ever wrote the perfect essay on their first try. Trust me, I know that. My mother was a doctor of English, and my son is a movie, TV, video game writer, and it's you got to rewrite, and so everybody enters every time because you get better at it anyway. And also, if you're the guy who takes 100% of the goals and somebody's only taking 50%, well, your odds are just a lot better.
Yeah. And sharpening your ideas, like you're saying, Andrew. I mean, that's super important. We also heard that for like the project system, as people are submitting their proposals, like just the act of putting it all on paper, submitting your idea, getting feedback from the MoonDAO Senate, revising it, like all those things we've heard directly from project leads or potential project leads. I mean, that just that process in and of itself is super helpful. And, they can, if it's not approved by the community, they can submit it again later to us or to another organization. They can continue running with that idea. It's obviously not a dead end. It's a great start, essentially.
Yeah,
the project
absolutely.
Yeah, taking that first step, just articulating your goals and putting yourself out there, I think is 80 or 90% of what it takes. But yeah, I mean, Iman and you, I remember both of you were there in our first sweepstakes call all the way back in 2022. And back then, everyone who entered that, the big question on their minds was, is this real? Because it's such a kind of out of left field concept.
I remember.
Like, wow, a bunch of people got together, bought a seat, and now they're, figuring out how to give it out in the community. But at least, people joining this competition know that we've done it in the past. And so, I
mean, you guys were top, you're in the non-governmental space agencies and non-mega corporation space group and companies. You guys are in the top 2, there's Space for Humanity and you guys. So I mean, you've proven that you know how to make it happen, and that's, to me, from somebody who's on the outside who's been entering every contest and for God knows how long. That's refreshing. There's a lot of frustration when you have a dream of flying in space, but you can't let it get you down. Like, I just got done with a phone call with my son talking about it, and he says, they don't. From a personal side, my family doesn't like to see me disappointed, but I'm way past that point. It's not disappointment like Black Friday. It's January 30th when Blue announced they were causing New Shepard. It was a triple hit for me, from just from the general space community, for the time the Sarah competition that was going on, and then also, and I can say this now, I was up for a job in Van Horn for Blue Origin, and they shut it down, and then poof, job going away.
Right.
Now, hopefully my current employer doesn't hear that, but anyway.
Yeah, well, life moves fast, and things can change, also for better, very quickly. You never know
new opportunities,
when you're going to see that new opportunity, and then something happens. I mean,
Well-
we've been on such a journey with Frank. It's been almost 2 years now since we started working with Frank. And we've had all kinds of crazy things happen where we had been talking to Blue and been working on getting him up there with Blue, and then I remember getting in a call with Frank after that news and saying, all right, well, we got to keep moving forward, just got to keep persevering, and so here we are today.
Yeah, people are calling Frank and saying, hey, so sorry, it's all over. It's like, this isn't over. We're only getting started, right?
That's why I love the video you did when Frank bouncing out of the wall. I love that.
Frank is back.
Frank is back. But
Frank won't
in
quit.
the larger space community, what we're doing, it helps convince other organizations to get involved. If everybody just says, average person says, yeah, it's all malarkey, whatever. But people who are in the business, who believe in it, they see groups like us, I-24 and MoonDAO, and even Space for Humanity. They see the activity and the attention we're getting, whether it's within the space community, but that encourages them to look to do things too. A lot of fledgling stratospheric balloon companies like we talked about, have been getting ready to try to fly, and I think that's the next big thing. It's not as much as orbital, obviously, and even suborbital, but it gets you there. It's a little better safety margins. Let's put it that way. A balloon is much safer than a rocket, of course. Plus, you get all that time. I mean, a 3 or 4 hour ride, maybe even a 6 hour ride. That's got to be great. Yeah.
Lots of time to take in the overview effect and overview perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, I think I missed a little bit of the beginning because, like I mentioned, I was in transit, but we are wrapping up the project results. So later today, end of day today, projects will know whether or not they have been approved for funding or not. So stay tuned for all of that info. Also, retroactive rewards, the results will be published as well. So yeah, lots of news that will be happening here in just a few hours. So
cool.
Cool. Well, yeah, nothing else to update in terms of network updates and all that. So yeah, we'll aim to get those out hopefully later today and try to move quick in terms of funding the approved projects. And we'll have a new cohort of senators that are coming in as well with the recently completed projects. We'll be welcoming those folks onto the Senate and saying goodbye to a few of our senators who have served faithfully over the past 6 months in many cases. So yeah, we'll send out a bunch of announcements about that, of course, too, as we go through this governance transition between quarters. But yeah, excited for what comes next here.
Yeah.
There's
always just a lot of threads, a lot of background threads. At MoonDAO, we've got projects running, Frank's raise, we're going to Brazil. We've been working on some really, really cool stuff with simulation work that hopefully we can present here soon. Prizes that we're kind of putting together right now. So just throwing little teasers out, but yeah, lots of stuff happening and in the works. So yeah, it's always you know, I feel like every single day at MoonDAO there's always something new, something crazy happening. So yeah.
Oh yeah. That's true of the bigger community too. It's a lot of moving parts out there. That's one of the things in I-24 we're just trying to find somebody who can keep us online to look, you know, 6 months out and so forth, because we're usually got our heads down doing a few important things, and then we miss Space Week every week. It's every year. It's tradition. We miss Space Week, and I'm like, how do you miss Space Week?
Shark Week right now, so
Shark Week.
we've got a little bit of a breather. People are focused on the sharks. We can work on moon stuff and space stuff in the background while they're distracted.
Yeah, exactly. I hadn't thought of that. Excellent.
All right,
Cool.
guys.
Well, I guess we can wrap it up with Shark Week. That's a good
That's a
theme
good
to end
place.
on.
Yeah. As long as it's not Sharknado. I can do Shark Week, but not Sharknado. Yeah.
Right.
Sharks in space.
Thank you, Zen. I needed that.
So I guess stay tuned, folks. We'll let you know if there is or isn't a MoonDAO Town Hall next week, just with everything going on. But if not, we will definitely be back in 2 weeks with the project showcase and demo day. So yeah, stay tuned for all that.
Thanks.
Space
Awesome.
Shark. All right. All right. Thanks
guys.
everybody.
All right. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Our world is not in good shape. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that we, as the crew of Spaceship Earth, we're kind of doing a terrible job of being the crew.
All the astronauts say when they get up top, they're like, what are we doing?
Yeah. But explain to me what the overview effect is.
You know, it is absolutely gorgeous. Overview effect is when you're looking through that cupola, it's like the bay window looking down on the Earth, and you see just that, the Earth as it exists with the whole universe in the background. You see the thin blue line of the atmosphere, and then when you're on the dark side of the Earth, you actually see this very thin green line that shows you where the atmosphere is. And what you realize is every single person you know is sustained and inside of that green line, and everything else outside of it is completely inhospitable. You don't see borders, you don't see religious lines, you don't see political boundaries. All you see is Earth, and you see that we're way more alike than we are different.
Booster ignition and liftoff.
The Artemis mission illustrated the difference between surface thinking and overview thinking. Seen from the surface of the Earth, we perceive difference, division, conflict. But from above the surface, we perceive unity, oneness, interconnection, and cooperation. This is an inflection point where humanity has a choice between the two. And our decision will influence life on Earth and off-world for millennia.
When I think about Frank floating and experiencing Earth out the window of a spaceship, I am totally humbled by that.
Frank White is somebody who's devoted the last 30 plus years to not only explaining what the overview effect is, but more importantly, what the implications of that shift in perspective is for our planet.
We don't often think about the ripple effect of stuff that we do. So those of you thinking of supporting Frank, it's not just about him going to space, it's the ripple effect from that experience when he comes back. And that's why we should send Frank to space.
We're inviting people to go beyond making a contribution and join the mission. It won't just be a flight, but also support for bringing the overview effect down to Earth. So join us in sending Frank to space.
Send Frank to space! And bring him back.
It's time for us to fly Frank to space.
Let's get Frank to space.
Let's send Frank to space.
We are here to say, send Frank to space.
Send Frank to space! Send Frank to space!
Send Frank to space! Get Frank to space. Send Frank to space.
To engage in supporting the project of sending my friend Frank White into space.
Let's get this guy to space. Forget about me. Let's get Frank White to space. Tell them one more time.
Let's send Frank to space.